require more progesterone. This was a very good study which was done in RBO online. And what has been noticed is that in obese women, there does not seem to be an impact on embryos. The endometrium, in fact, is exposed to supraphysiological levels of steroids, and probably a fresh transfer may not be better, and a frozen transfer would be better. What has also been noticed is that in obese women, the progesterone levels are lower. In this study of around 3,210 women, out of which 1,361 women were done before the trial was commenced, so they did not have the progesterone levels at the day of transfer. Micronized progesterone was used, and progesterone levels were checked around 6 hours before the embryo transfer, on the day of embryo transfer, and that is quite key to this. The progesterone levels were in the range of 11.8 to 13.19 nanogram per ml, and it seemed to be steady in the normal and the underweight. In the obese category of women, and again I'm talking about BMI of more than 33, there was a significant drop of progesterone. When a progesterone was less than 9.2, a rescue was planned, which means injectable progesterone was used and subcutaneous progesterone was used. And if you have a look, that obese women showed an impaired results with a suboptimal progesterone, which means that when the progesterone levels were low, the clinical pregnancy rate dropped from 62.6% in obese women to 43.8% in obese women. In underweight and normal women, the miscarriage rate increased to 24% with suboptimal levels of progesterone were there. And when the optimal level of progesterone was available, the miscarriage rate dropped to 15.5. So what do you see here? You see that in the case of obese women, if your progesterone levels were down to less than 9.2 nanogram, your clinical pregnancy rate dropped. It is possible that progesterone levels are variable in the obese group, and especially with vaginal progesterone. It's possible again of a larger distribution, and that's the reason why progesterone levels may be lower. In a previous study done by Labata, what has been noticed is that if your progesterone levels are lower on the day of embryo transfer, a rescue works. A rescue with subcutaneous progesterone works. If you have a look at this study, obese women, just have a look at the chart, and the obese women and overweight women, a larger proportion had lower progesterone. Also, if you look at the pregnancy rates, when there was suboptimal progesterone, at that stage, in the underweight and the normal weight, even with a lower suboptimal level, the difference in pregnancy rates weren't much higher. In the obese category, as soon as there was a lower progesterone levels, the difference in live birth and clinical pregnancy rates was significantly more. So what does it tell us? It tells us that there seems to be an additional amount of progesterone. Whether you give just vaginal progesterone is your choice, and I think sometimes adding injectable may be useful. Again, the evidence is still not complete. But also, if you measure your progesterone on a day of embryo transfer and you see that it is on the lower side, then give a rescue, and evidence suggests that that may be